Shane Bowen, thanks for coming in. As you probably know, Wink and I had a public falling out thanks to Xavier McKinney's comments about the coaches not listening to the players, and now we're in the market for a new defensive coordinator.
Thanks for the invite, Dabes. I'll be honest, I didn't realize Martindale left because of McKinney. Like the reports all said it was because you tried to fire his coaches to make him look like the scapegoat after another embarrassing season.
Yeah, that's just the New York press, always trying to drum up a story out of thin air. Anyway, I just want to put your mind at ease and say in no way does the fact that you were our fifth choice affect this interview.
Oh, I actually didn't even know I was that far down the list, but thanks for letting me know.
Yeah, our first choice was Denard Wilson, but he politely told us he wasn't interested in boarding the Titanic.
That's too bad.
Yeah, Bobby Babich was also high on the list, but he was promoted in Buffalo.
I heard about that.
Yeah, then we interviewed some of our coaches internally, and Derek Ansley was also in consideration.
Wow. You ran through a lot of people before you got to me.
Yeah, I told Mara that when a destination once coveted by the entire league becomes the scurvy of professional sports, you don't have much choice but to settle for guys like Shane Bowen.
Sounds like he got the message.
He sure did. So now that we're talking, why don't you give me an overview of your defensive scheme?
So the 5 pillars of my scheme are penetration and disruption, rush lane integrity, zone and match coverage, 2 high safety shells, and flexibility to adapt to the offense.
Sounds impressive. Tell me more.
We'll run a light box where the defensive linemen shade between 2 gaps to account for extra gaps in the formation using stunts, twists, and slants.
Okay, so if you widen your alignments, won't that be a problem against run-heavy offenses?
Usually, yeah. In that case, we'll just have to look at the schedule and hope we don't play any of those teams.
Sweet holy Jesus.
Jesus? Daves, I don't think he's fast enough to fit in our scheme. I need guys who fit the scheme.
Okay, so what about your coverage schemes on the back end?
We'll use pattern match and drop zone concepts. Now, before you say anything, I just want to stress that this isn't any of that passive read and react defense. I just want defenders reading and reacting to the quarterback.
I'll be honest, when you say you want defenders reading and reacting, it sounds like you're saying it's a read and react defense.
No, I want defenders reading and reacting. It's definitely not read and react.
Okay, what else?
We'll use a 2 high shell to protect against deep throws, but I should warn you, this puts responsibility on the front 7 to slow down their own pass rush in order to eliminate easy depth for receivers behind the match patterns and coverage.
Wait, you want to slow down our own pass rush?
Yeah, I like to give the quarterback a full 7 seconds. That way the back end can figure out how to match the coverage.
7 seconds? Shane, we have some really good pass rushers and might be adding more in the near future. Do you really think that's making the best use of our defensive talent up front?
I do think it's the best use of our pass rush because once we match the coverage after 7 seconds, nobody will be able to complete a pass on us.
Shane, if we give them 7 seconds to throw the ball, not only will they complete every pass attempt, they'll be able to drive to a Wendy's, order the spicy chicken, and come back just as our speed rushers are getting to the quarterback.
This scheme doesn't work unless we give them 7 seconds to throw.
Okay, how about we run through some scenarios? I'll come up with an adjustment to your defensive scheme, and you tell me how you would plan to counter the adjustment. Example number 1, you're running cover 4 with a light box versus 11 personnel. I go no huddle to prevent you from substituting to heavier packages. Line up in 3-by-1 trips formation, 3 receivers to one side, isolating the backside X receiver. Then I run an RPO that lets the quarterback read the inside linebacker or safety. Now, your defenders are in conflict because the safeties can't disguise rotations. What's your pre-snap defensive adjustment?
We could show cover 4 and then roll to cover 3 or 6 post-snap, then rotate the weak side safety down. That should muddle the quarterback's read and give the 4-man rush extra time to get home.
Okay, not bad, but what if the offense uses tempo or motion to catch the rotation?
What do you mean?
I mean, if the rotating safety has to start moving earlier, it'll let the quarterback see which side the safety is rolling to. If the quarterback reads the rotation and identifies the weak side of the field, then what?
I'm not really sure. I usually try not to overthink my schemes too much.
Okay, that's a strange answer. Let's try another. You're playing soft cover 2, and the offense overloads the flat in a 2 high zone, deep corner route versus the safety and intermediate digs versus the linebacker with play action to hold the linebackers. At that point, you have zone defenders in conflict between vertical and horizontal space if the front doesn't generate quick pressure. How do you counter the adjustment?
Simple. We reassign responsibilities with switch calls. That way the defenders pass off levels instead of chasing every route. what it does is reduce the horizontal stretch and keeps the linebacker from getting out leveraged in the curl flat.
Okay, good answer. But what if the offense knows you're making a switch call and decides to stack the receivers to release at the same depth? Wouldn't they hit the intermediate window before anyone can switch?
Now that I think about it, yeah, I guess it would.
Okay, well, I guess that's a 50-yard touchdown. Let's try another scheme. Your defensive front is built for a light box, one gap discipline. The offense comes out with a two tight end condensed set, thinking they're going to bully you with old school power football. What's your adjustment?
Super easy. We just turn a two high shell into a 7-man box by rolling one safety down late to fit run support.
Okay, but there's a risk in running that adjustment. What's the risk?
Risk? Well, let's see. Risk. It's just to clarify, you said risk, right? I don't really think there's any risk per se. I mean, how can there be a risk? Is it possible you're thinking of some other word?
No, risk would be the word I'd use. Whatever, I'll answer my own question. The risk would be that you've only got one safety defending the play action post.
Oh, that's right. Duh. Guess I wasn't thinking. Anyway, rest assured they won't have time for play action. So if they run the ball, we'll use gap control and give the linebackers room to scrape.
Shane, don't take this personally, but I've noticed that your gap control techniques tend to get washed by double teams. What if that happens here?
Then it's probably a 75-yard touchdown run.
Let me ask you something, and I want you to be completely honest. You think Bobby Babich already signed his contract up in Buffalo? I mean, if I wanted to try and make another run at him for the job, is there some kind of, I don't know, legal loophole I can use to stop the promotion from happening?
I don't know, Dabes. I'm not a lawyer.
What about your old pals in Tennessee? Any way you can convince them to take you back so we can hire the guy we wanted?
Sorry, I pretty much got run out of there like a drunk at a bar with his tab cut off.
Well, then I guess we're stuck with each other. I'll have Joe's office draw up a contract and have it to you by tomorrow morning.
Oh, boy, does that mean like you're giving me the job?
Isn't that what usually happens when you get a contract?
That's fantastic, Dabes. My scheme really depends on good quality players in the secondary. I'm glad Xavier McKinney's one of your captains because my defense really depends on skilled high IQ players in the back end.
Yeah, about that. It doesn't look like we're going to be re-signing him.
Okay, well, you still have Julian Love, so I'm sure we'll make do.
No, Julian Love went to the Seahawks last year.
Well, in order for my defense to rank better than 25th in the league, I need experienced vets. So who's it going to be?
Probably some rookie fresh out of college, not even a first rounder.
Okay, well, I'm sure that's fine. Heck, you and Joe have been building the roster for 3 years now, so it's not like we're going to be 3-14 or anything.
Can I tell you something personal?
Sure, Dabes. You can tell me anything.
I haven't cried since November 2005 when McDonald's announced they were permanently taking the McRib off the menu. I absolutely loved that sandwich, and after that, life was just never the same. But you know, Shane, I have to say, as soon as I'm done with this meeting, I'm considering the idea of retreating to my office and bawling straight into one of my hidden centerfold mags of Josh Allen.
He's a great quarterback. We played him this year and gave up 34 points.
Yep, I think it's safe to say I'm completely freaking cooked.
Better start packing, fat boy.